Welcome to another episode of the Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we have a special episode for you guys that I'm very excited to break down. Perfect Match Season 3. We're going to talk a little bit about episodes 2, 7, or 9, but we have a special guest. But before we get into that, I'm joined by my co-host, Ashley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I am a little tired, but it's Sunday and we're getting ready for Monday, so that is what it is. You know what I mean? It's the dreaded Mondays, but when we have Sundays like this, we can be very excited because we have special guests on the show, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But this batch of episodes was filled with two different shows, in my opinion. On one side of the island, we have the boys who did just about whatever the hell they wanted, and on the other side, we had the girls do nothing, and that was the crazy dynamic of this batch of episodes that we saw, right?
Yeah, it was nuts. And it's just a lot to unpack with these episodes.
Because in my opinion, when you get to this batch of episodes, the mixer is always going to be insane, right? You know what I mean? Like, you always know that the guys are going to do their thing and they're going to, cause a little drama. We're going to get one or two dares and then it's lights out from there, right?
Of course, we knew that, like, we were going to get drama, but I didn't think it was going to be like this.
It was pretty crazy. I mean, there's a lot of craziness to go down. But I was like, you know what? You said to me, you're like, what better way to talk about the episodes, with somebody that lived the show? You know what I mean? Like, we're just people that watched it. We enjoyed it. You know what I mean? But somebody actually was there and lived the Perfect Match world. So initially from Temptation Island, but now on Perfect Match Season 3, we like to welcome to the show, Alex. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited to talk about this drop of episodes specifically. Maybe I'm biased, so I'm excited to talk about it.
There might be just a reason or two you're excited about this batch, right?
Yes.
I mean, this batch was spicy.
I'm not gonna lie, I did focus on the parts where I was in. Like, I'm kind of narcissistic.
As you should.
As you should. Over and over. So if you have specific questions about other people, maybe I'll need you to recap me a little bit. But I can give you
actually, that's the perfect way to start this, right? You know what I mean? Like, what is it like kind of watching yourself back on these shows? You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. It is okay. My first show, everything came out at once. So I was able to binge it all in one day. And I was like, okay, now I know what happens. I feel good. This like in between is especially cutting it at the point that it did. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what they're going to show. I don't know what I said. I don't know how it's going to be. So this drop of episodes specifically, I was really excited though, because I know, I cause a little chaos and a little bit of a villain, I would say likable villain in the Netflix reality universe. But I think in this show, I did get to show a little bit more of my personality. So I was excited, and this drop was juicy. This one, there's a lot that happened that like no one even says, and I don't even think I can say because there's NDAs in place and stuff like that. But it was a juicy few episodes. I will say that.
I definitely agree. The episodes were definitely juicy, and you spiced them up for sure. But what made you come on the Perfect Match?
Okay, so Perfect Match is one of my favorite shows, actually. So I was like obsessed with season 1, season 2, and as soon as I got back from Temptation Island, I got a call from Netflix, and they were like, "Are you interested?" I'm like, "Sign me up! It's my favorite show. I'm totally down." And I had my fun. Filming was pretty quick in between the two, but I had my fun on Temptation Island. I did what I did. But I'm like, there's a wholesome side to me also, aside from just the sexy vixen side. So I was like, I'm really open to anything. I can go into it, and if I find someone cool, if I don't, cool. If I meet someone that's just like a vibe for the experience, that's cool too. Like, who knows, right? Like, you can really, now we see after this, you can end up married with a kid. So really, the world's your oyster when it comes to Perfect Match.
I think for the first 2 seasons, one of the biggest things missing was those connections, right? You know what I mean? It's like when people watch these shows, they're like, all right, these people from all over the world And that's really one of the more interesting things is like when you meet somebody, it's like, all right, what's the dynamic going to be like outside of this place? Because you might live here, this person might live here, and then obviously AD and Ollie really live that being totally different across the pond. But when you think about that dynamic of going into the show, right? We see you enter the fold here early on, in the episodes. What's the waiting game like? Obviously, you weren't amongst the first crew to enter the house, but what happened between like those time frames of like waiting to figure out if you're going to get your name pulled off the board between that time and then, of course, your date with Louis?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a lot of waiting. What people don't know, we don't have our phones. We're just in the hotel, and there's days where you're told there's going to be something. They're really, really good on the show about like not telling you anything, which is like a curse and a blessing. But they're like, there could be a thing today. So get ready and look hot and like we'll let you know. And it's just like, okay. But it really was like in real time. So it was like, get ready and then just kind of sit around and be like, okay, hopefully I get picked. Lucky for me, I did get to go on, the first date for the girls. So I was lucky. I got to get out, but then, unfortunately, I did not make it into the house.
Speaking of that date, talk to us about that date with Louis. Like, what was it like? Like, did you expect to come back into the house? And
okay, so to answer the first part of the question, the date was really, really good for what it was. I wasn't expecting it to be Louis, even though he was, one of my Netflix crushes that I did tell Netflix specifically. I'm like, oh, there's no way Louis Russell's gonna be on another dating show. Like, there's no way. Oh, surprise, he was. But I think like our dynamic on the show, I think it was portrayed pretty well, like in the date, of how our like conversations went and how there was like a lot of tension. So that went really well. And then going into the house after that, I did, usually I do get what I want. So it was a little bit humbling and shocking to me that I didn't get into the house. What was interesting watching it back actually was that I didn't know all of those conversations that were happening about me, like in the background. Obviously, as a viewer, you're hearing all the things and the argument between Eddie and Ollie in the boardroom and all of these things. And I'm like, watching it back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. This makes so much sense. Why everyone was so mean. When I came in, I was like, oh my gosh. I was terrified because everyone was just like,
Yeah, because the tension was really like the boardroom scene to me, like was one of my favorite parts early on of the episode because like you could see like Ollie's eyes going back and forth, like, no, we need to bring Alex in. You know what I mean? Like we need to bring Alex in. And it was like, it does like clock in your head, like, all right, date went good with Louis. I'm coming back. I'm feeling good about that. And then you kind of come back in the house and like the claws are out, which in some aspects is understandable because obviously somebody's going home. I've got to get a connection, but also, you're walking into like a firing squad and not even realizing it, right?
Yes. I had no idea about any of those conversations until AD did tell me actually there was like a little bit of tension in the boardroom. She's like, I was like thinking that maybe you would go after Ollie and I didn't want that. And I was like, I wouldn't, despite what everyone's like, you're not a girl's girl, Alex, for Temptation Island. Okay, whatever. I am a girl's girl. So I told her that, I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds me. You brought me into the house. I appreciate that. I'm not going after your man. We're safe. You're good.
Oh, so you guys had that conversation. So that's great. Like that was out on the table. Like, hey, I don't want your man.
We're good. Yeah.
So
and I think I made it very clear that I was very interested in Louis. I made it very
like that's who you had your eyes on. Yeah. So like everybody else, they were there, but you weren't looking at them.
Yeah. I mean, I vibed with everyone. I think I had really, really good conversations with everybody, which you didn't get to see, obviously, right? If you're like condensing the episode. Like, I had really good conversations with all the guys, and they were all really sweet. But yeah, I mean, like, I was trying to, yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. On your date, I was very excited. Look, I love Louis. I love his hilarious, like, he has some of the funniest one-liners anybody, like, in the human history does. Like, he's just a funny, I don't understand half of the things he says sometimes, but it's like, it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, what Louis logic is. I'm still trying to unpack what that is. I asked him what Louis logic was, and I'm still confused on what that is, but hopefully
I think he's confused on what that is. I think
he makes it up as he goes along, probably. You gotta love
totally
Louis.
Does. Yeah, he totally does.
So, but talk to me about that night, right? Talk to me about what it's like filming that night, because obviously there's so much going on. How long is that night? Is it just like a night you're kind of just vibing there? Like when you come back from the date, what's it kind of like mixing, mingling with everybody? Is it like a catch up sesh, or is that like, are you just kind of focused on trying to like, not just necessarily stay in the house? Like you want to build a connection, you're trying to build a connection, but also like, hey, I want to be in the house too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting because a show like Perfect Match, right? I think a lot of people don't exactly understand that it is more of a strategy game than it is a real dating show.
I firmly agree with you 100%.
Yeah, people don't really understand that, and then they're like bummed out. They're like, "Why is no one like in love?" Which so you have about an hour for the date. So you have about an hour to get to know this person one on one, and then you're thrown into a house with obviously the girls are, if you're a girl coming in as a bombshell, all the girls are like, because they don't want you to take away their spot. And then you have to try to get to know every guy because maybe, the guy that you went on a date with wasn't the best fit. So it's like stakes are really high and like the time's a ticking, and it's really hard to make that like you would love to, ideally, right? You would love to make a connection, and that just like you're like, wow, okay, sparks fly, kick your girl out, take me. But it's hard in the limited time that you have. So it really is a like who's gonna be the easiest to crack in that way. And like lucky for me, I guess I was paired up with Louis, which I think out of any of the guys, he would be the first one. Him and like Scott, maybe. Scott was like a little bit but Louis is like known for, switching up. Like Sandy said, he turns his head for shiny new things. So I was thinking in my head, oh, I got this in the bag. Like it's easy. This is like taking candy from a baby.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought the same thing. As soon as I saw you guys' date, like you can feel the connection through the screen. Like I saw the connection between you guys. So then I was like, oh, Sandy's gone. I was like, Alex got this. Sandy's gone.
And I really did go into it with like a genuine, like I would do want to get to know him, and beyond just what I've seen on TV of knowing like he's a little pot stirrer, a little fuck boy. Sorry, can I say that? Sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
I just don't know. I have a potty mouth a little bit, but and I was lucky because my show hadn't come out yet during this filming. So nobody knew who I was unless I don't know, they were told about me or whatever. So Louis didn't have any background knowledge on me to like have any preconceived notions or like biases or anything like that. Like for me, I went into I've seen his shows. I know what type of time he's on. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be so easy. But I did want to genuinely get to know him too. And he's really cool and we're cool in person. So still to this day, we're just cool.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, obviously that transitions pretty well, right? Like let's dive into this week's batch of episodes where things get a little bit spicy. As somebody that has watched Perfect Match season 1 and season 2, your date didn't go as maybe you planned, and the date went fine, but the aftermath didn't go the way you thought it might possibly could. But then in the back of your head, this mixer's coming, right? You know the mixer's on the table. What was was the game plan to go right to Louis? Did you have in mind just to try to mix and mingle with whoever you kind of connected with? Was there a game plan in Alex's mind walking into the mixer?
There's always a game plan in Alex's mind. I went in knowing I was going to give most of my attention to Louis because I know him as a person. At that point, I already had I'm very good at psychology. So at that point, I'm like, okay, he just like loves attention. He loves to be just like smothered, which I typically actually don't do. As a female, I don't chase after men, but I'm like, I'm trying to get in the house. I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to have fun. So I did go into it with that. There were times where like I pulled away, it's that little like hot and cold game during the day of the mixer, but I knew as soon as we started playing Truth or Dare, I was like, oh, because he was going around telling people that day. And he already, we saw it in the conversation with AD, like he was saying, like, I want to kiss people. And then people were coming up to me and being like, hey, like Louis wants to kiss you. I'm like, so come do it. What are you waiting for? I'm like, okay, then do it then.
Quit talking about it, start being about it.
Like, kiss you then,
Speaking of that dare,
Yeah.
So Daniel dares Louis to kiss you.
Uh-huh.
And then you guys spice things up in the pool between you and Olivia. Was it?
Yeah, that's my girl.
Love Olivia. Love
Yeah.
her. So yeah, how did I guess Sandy found out about it, correct?
Yeah, Louis is very honest. That's one thing I will say. He did tell her everything because Sandy and I had a debrief. I don't even think they showed that at all. I skipped anything that I didn't see my face. So, but they yeah, we had a debrief and she was like at the big mixer. She was like, "Oh, he did this. You guys were like booed up the whole day." And I was like, "Yeah."
I will say he was honest. Louis
Yeah.
was honest. He came out
You
and was
gotta
like, "Yeah,
respect
I did this. I kissed 2 girls and Alex," and that was when it was like, dun dun dun.
outside of the challenge. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's one of my favorite things. Like when the guys come back from the mixer, like that entire scene is like priceless just because it's like, yeah, we played football, we swam in the pool, was there any kissing? Well, I mean, it was nice
No one said it
outside.
was crickets. No one said anything. It was just like everyone just sat there. Like you just be honest, you guys. Everyone, we've all seen the show.
You're gonna see it on TV, so you might as well just be honest about it.
Facts.
Yeah. So obviously the entire mixer with the guys, you know what I mean? It got a little crazy. Did it really shock you, I guess, that some of these guys that have been, booed up, as people are saying, since day one, because you kind of know about the connections in a way because you were in the house for like a few minutes, so you already were aware of some of the connections, and a lot of those connections from day one to leaning into the finale don't really mix up. So were you kind of surprised about some of the guys that were willing to cross those lines in that moment?
No.
I agree with you.
No. I know men. I know how men are. In this specific scenario, honestly, if AD had not been there, it would have been way more crazy.
AD was like the watch. She was watching everything.
And I had to respect that from her, as a girl that was in the house and friends with the girls.
Sure.
You got to respect it. And that's why I was like, I'm not going to change what I'm doing. And like, I'm single. I can do whatever I want. That's on them. So if you're going to tell on them, it's not my problem.
Yeah, I love Louis like going up to her like pinky promise. Can you please promise me?
I feel like Louis said it at least 3 times. He kept saying, "AD, look away," or like, "Don't look." But I mean, she was gonna go back and tell her girls what happened.
No, hey, to AD's respect, she didn't spill anything until she's like, "Well, what do you guys know?"
Yeah, yeah, that is true. She did. Yeah, she said, "What did you guys know?" And she's like,
And then she was like, "Do you want to know?"
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And they could have said no, like, "Oh, I don't want to know what happened," or whatnot.
Crazy.
So, was there stuff that went down on the show that we didn't see that you can tell us?
I don't know. I'm really broad. I don't know. Do you have a specific question of like? I can say like yes. I would say yes, 100% yes. There's a lot that you did not see, so that's why me watching it back, even just like the guys mixer, there was more to it that it wasn't shown at all. So.
Did you let me rephrase. Did you have any more things that happened at the mixer that we didn't see?
Did I?
Yes, specifically.
Yeah.
Do you care to elaborate on this? If not, you can just say no.
You can just say no. We'll move on.
I don't think I can, but did I? I may have, like in theory. Theoretically, is that the word?
Yeah, in theory, yeah, theoretically.
Or maybe like in my imagination, maybe I was dreaming or something. But I may have kissed more people. I don't know.
I like it.
I like it.
Perfect.
Cool. I have another question though.
Okay.
Who are you still friends with on the show? Like, I know all the girls are like, cool with each other, but like, who is like your besties from the show?
Yeah, everyone. is cool in their own respect. I would say my best friends from the girl side are Justine, Olivia, QT, and Hannah. Like those are my girls. You know, obviously Olivia and I have history. Hannah and I bonded over the fact that we live in the same city, so we are super pumped to
Oh,
be able
that's
to
cool.
hang out after the fact. And then Justine and QT are amazing, and they're just so cool and sweet. And like those girl, like it was a long filming process, especially for the girlies that were not in the OG cast in the house. So for us to be able to like have each other, you know, and really like bond over that, it was my mental would have just if not.
I totally get it. Like we didn't get to see QT much. Like
I
I
was
really
just
I
for
know.
QT and Hannah because
I wanted
they
to
are so cool and like
Yeah, I was pretty sad. Like his QT's personality in the circle, I was like, and even Hannah the Mole. Like Hannah the Mole was like fabulous. You know what I mean? She had Tony eating out of the palm of her hand in about 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, can you imagine just like Hannah like being in the house, like what she was able to do to, you know, Tony like that. You know, she would have just started thinking, this is how I think we fix perfect match. Okay. I think you throw everybody in the house at one
like
time.
season 1.
Yes. Just throw everybody in there at one time. And then you could build the matches however they are. And then like you have a competition and like the top 5 couples that win, everybody else goes home, you know, not home, but goes back to their hotel rooms. You know what I mean? And then you have to try to get your way back into the show type of thing. But I feel like it gives the opportunity for everybody to have an opportunity. You know what I mean?
100%. And it's hard when you've already. So what in my mind, right, when I'm comparing like Perfect Match to a show like Love Island where you're all in one room sleeping, it's really, really different when you're cohabitating. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're sleeping in the same bed with someone for that long, like days before you even go on a date, like you have a chance to really like lock in that way. Now it's like intimate and like whether you're like hooking up or not, I think like living with somebody for a few days, you end up getting like way closer than you expect. And that's something that people don't really understand too in this type of scenario. It's like you're living in a simulation for the duration of filming because you don't have your phone, you don't have outside distractions, you have to be super present. And so you get really close with whoever it is that you're spending time with because you have no choice but to get close with them.
You guys couldn't have your phones or anything?
No, we don't have our phones like that. No.
Okay.
That's why that's why to me it's like whenever people like kind of criticize like relationships that kind of come out of these experiments, it's like to me it's like you're literally with this person almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or you know, 24 hours a day at least, and you're filming and then you're not filming and you're just like it's like speed dating. It's like 700 dates in one day. You know what I mean?
100%. Because I used to make fun of people on reality TV, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're crying over someone after whatever 3 days." But I'm like, okay, now that I've lived it, not that I would cry over a man on TV, which I'm a Pisces, so I do cry a lot, but I don't think I would cry over a man on TV. But I get it now. Because even just as close as I got with my girlfriends on the show and on Temptation Island, how close I got with my girlfriends on the show, like you do get really, really close. So I take back everything I've ever said about people crying on reality TV. Because also it's like such long days and it's hot, and then you're like not eating like you normally would, and then it's like it's very emotional.
For sure. Yeah.
Sorry, that was an ADHD tangent. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's perfect. No, it makes perfect sense because again, it's like the balance of trying to figure out, like you know, people are very highly critical of the relationships that are found from these shows. Like, how could you fall so fast? How could you be like, I love you so fast? And it's like, well, I'm with this person 24 hours a day for you know, and some of these people, like, I mean, this is shot over a month, 2 month, about a month or so. So like if you think by episode 7, 8, 9, or whatever where we're at, some of these people like Daniel and Lucy and even Louie and Sandy have been together since day one. Like that means you've been kind of, I mean, for lack of a better word, up each other's ass for like, you know, 3 weeks, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What's the difference in filming Temptation Island and Perfect Match?
a world of difference. They're
Really?
just so different. I mean, different production companies, obviously, and different premises of the show. I think Temptation Island is like a mixture of a million different shows. It's like the ultimatum, kind of with Love Island, Casa More vibes, right? So then you're in the bombshells, and there's a lot. And then it's like too hot to handle because it's like, oh, these people are being thrown in a house with like super sexy people. It's like, can they resist themselves? I don't know. The filming, I mean, both are super long days. It's super hot locations. I would say though, it's really interesting. Temptation Island was like a lot of girls. So a lot of girls in one place. And if you think about girls, hot girls with very big personalities all at the same time, all in one place, I don't even want to say fighting, but like trying to fight over 4 guys.
It sounds scary.
It's terrifying.
That actually sounds scary.
Like the claws came out. There are definitely a few arguments.
So the perfect match was a little more like
tame.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
But one thing I do love, nothing against Nick Lachey, but one thing I do love about Temptation Island is Mr. Mark Wahlberg. I think he is the absolute best host like ever, right?
I mean, I love him. I love
Yes.
him. I love his wife. His daughter is so sweet. He's just like so real. And he really is how he is on the show. It's like not an act. He is that person, that like fatherly figure, and gives such good advice. And like I was just on his podcast last week, and like, if you just want to like talk whenever, just like let me know.
Oh, that's
sweet. We love it. We will ride for Mark. Like I was screaming at the what's it called? The summer break when he won his award. I was literally screaming. Everyone's like, relax, Alex. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like he deserves like more than anybody. I may have been a couple margaritas deep, but I was so happy for him. Like I wanted to cry because he really deserved it. And he didn't think he was going to get it. And we're like, Mark, how could you not get it? Like you are so deserving, and you're just really real and genuine and authentic. And everybody loves you.
Yeah. When they first,
he's a very humble guy.
He is. And like, I've talked to him a few times, and like, you know, when the show transitioned from, you know, USA to Netflix, I was like, I don't really care who's on the show. If you change the host, I swear I will not watch it. Like, I was like, that was just like the one thing, because like he's been doing it for so long, and he's just like, he actually genuinely cares about the individuals that are involved in the show. And it's just such a beautiful thing. Because like, no offense to some of the other hosts, it's like no knock to them, but it's just like some of them are there to collect a paycheck, or some of them are there just to, hey, I got some lines to read, I'm going to show up and do it. And they might mix and mingle, which, I mean, did you have any like interaction with Nick at all?
I personally didn't have too much, just from essentially what you saw on the screen is the times where I got to talk to him. He was really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the finale quite yet. I think I talked to him probably the most out of all of the time during the finale, but we haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. But he's cool. But like Mark Wahlberg, after we were done filming Temptation Island, and right, has to be a little bit more biased towards the women on that show, the females in the couples, because of the scenario. And we all know the guys are messing up and the girls are perfect angels, and blah, 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 blah. That's how the show goes. That's how it's gone for 20 years. Yes. But even after the show, right, he like took the time to get to know me, even the someone that everyone should hate, and he was like, you're a sweet girl. Like, you are a very sweet girl, but yeah, you're the villain.
Is there any other reality TV shows that you would like to be on?
For me to go on another dating show, it would have to make a lot of sense. A lot of people are like, we would love to see you on Love Island because you can talk the pants off anybody. I don't know. This fan base kind of scares me a little bit on that.
I would love to see you on Love Island, but I want you to be an OG.
Yeah.
Like I don't want you to be a bombshell.
I don't want to steal people's
yeah.
Like, can I just be loved for me?
Yeah, you need to be an OG.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, would you like would you do something like a battle camp maybe too?
I am a very competitive person. I'm athletic also. So I was down to do a battle camp. I don't know if I haven't heard anything about a season 2.
Neither have I,
and
but look, I'm gonna throw your name out there.
Yeah,
Squid
we're putting
Game.
your name out
Oh,
there. Squid
Games.
Games.
I
Oh
heard
man.
4.56 million. I said, where do I sign up?
No,
Because
seriously.
I will Sparta kick somebody off a bridge if I need to.
I love it. I love watching that show because like people act all crazy, like, oh my god, I can't believe they did it. I was like, did you not hear the premise? There's 4.56 million involved, like million.
And
Like,
Squid Games is one of my favorite shows. Like I don't really watch TV, to be completely honest with you. I love Euphoria, and then when it comes to like reality TV, obviously like the Too Hot to Handle, that was the show I actually was I wanted to be on, originally. But Squid Games is so good. So just being on like Squid Games, the challenge would be so cool.
Ooh, let's put that out.
They're
into
casting
the
for it right
atmosphere.
now. Somebody
Yeah,
call
they
her up
are.
right now and put her out there. You know what I mean? Put Alex in the
We
Squid
need
Game.
Alex on Squid Game.
That'd be fun.
I agree. All right. So talk to just kind of give us what's next for Alex. Like what's in the pipeline that you can tell us about, obviously. You have any fun things coming up, or what's kind of next for Alex?
Yeah, in terms of TV, I don't know, and even if I did know, I couldn't exactly tell you. But for me, I'm really just working on building my brand. I'm getting more into fashion. I just went to Paris Fashion Week. I want to get into scripted acting. I want to get into music. I just bought a bunch of stuff to learn how to DJ, actually. I'm a very like manic, like I have a side quest type of person. So when I find something interesting, I like dive into it for a week, and I'm like, I just want to like learn a new skill. So yeah, there's a lot. I'm really excited about the rest
Will
of
you
this
be
year.
at New York Fashion Week?
Will I be at New York Fashion Week? I don't think so, but I was just in Paris, and I'm thinking about I might be at Las Vegas Swim Week next weekend.
Nice. I'm gonna look out for those pictures. I know you're gonna
post with the new girls. That's new. That's new
since Love Island. Yeah, I mean since Perfect Match. Yes.
Yeah. So that's something exciting.
Well, Alex, you are an absolute gem. We absolutely appreciate you coming on here and chatting with us. It has been amazing talking with you. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you guys. I had fun. Thank you for having me on.